Every individual is an extension of creative vitality. I want you to think of an instrument like a harp. Harp arranges a diversity of notes based on where you hold the string and the strength to which you pluck it and the combination of strings. And every individual is a representation of a different chord, a different vital vibrancy, a different string. And every incarnation, every journey is a different scale. That same melody, that same chord is being played in a different octave, but it's the same continuity. And all that we do in our relationships, in our relationships with loved ones, with our circle of influence, with the greater world beyond, is all a dance. It's all a dance. It's all a dance. It's a dance flowing to the music that's coming from our hearts. It's coming, the music being evoked through the hearts. How the strings, how the key chord, how the core creative vitality flows within, and how we play it, how we allow it, whether we allow to scale it down to bass notes or whether we lift it up harmoniously. Everything is just the dance to the music or the dissonance thereof. That's our creation. That's it right there. When an astute spiritualist sees a person, sees an individual, you see a confluence of overt and repressed creative qualities. That's what they are. What you call individuality is just the measurement, the degree to which your certain creative qualities are extended, are pronounced, and certain creative qualities are repressed. That these creative vitality that's extending through the soul get filtered down. Without getting into great details, they get filtered down through the instrumentation, through various chords. So the individual has a unique chord within them, but they're connected to the greater orchestration of the universe, of the world beyond. Now, an individual, when they think of the divine, when they think of the creator, they consider God or divinity per se. They relate each person according to the predilection of their innate skills and creative vitality that is pronounced within them, that's overt. They relate to the Creator, they relate to the divine, they relate to the Almighty, the Eternal. They give it the qualities that they respect. Each person, the qualities that they respect, that's what they see as divine. So if a person is very action-oriented, they see the divine as being very active, very action-oriented. If they're very patient, they see the divine as being very patient. You see how this goes? If they're very kind, they see the divine as being very kind. If they're very taxing, then they see the divine as very taxing. And so what we're going to then, I'll transpose and I'll say that the creative vitality that a person has that they overtly accept within their soul, they see that as an expression of God. They see that as divine. They respect that. The creative vitality within them that is repressed, that is, there's a mystique to it because you don't see it. Those are the aspects of the Creator that they do not venture to discover, that they do not coalesce with, they do not accept, they do not anticipate, they don't develop a harmonious relationship with. And in reflection to that, those are also the resources of their own soul that are latent within their own vitality, their own signature. So you see a reflection here that the individual, the soul, it becomes a microcosm of the greater construct of how it modulates the influence of the Creator within their reality. So what happens when you make this divide? Because the Creator, divinity is one, eternity is a singular. You may say eternity is a collective singular, but it is one, right? Infinity is one. You can't even subtract the infinity. Infinity minus infinity is still infinity. But when you, within yourself, you become the harbinger that is insisting, dedicating, these are my creative faculties, this is all I value, this is what I value in creation, this is what I witness. So what you're actually doing is you are segregating aspects of the Creator, of the divine, within your reality. And you're putting the qualities that you don't revere, you're shrouding them in mystique, you're putting them off. And the qualities that you do revere, those qualities are the aspects of the Creator that you say are overt. That's the Creator, that's your relationship, that's what you answer to or develop allegiance to a higher power. That is all part of your construct. And so, within a person, to the degree that they do not harmonize these two aspects, they do not bring it into a coalescing. A coalescing. A coalescing is like lovers that become one. When you take separate ingredients and you create an elixir, a synthesis, a fusion, to the degree that these don't coalesce and bring new children of thought, children called knowing, revelation, realization within the way you see and witness your reality, is the degree that there's a counterbalance. There's a counterbalance between aspects of the latent aspects of the divine that you are suppressing in your reality and the overt aspects of the divine that you revere in your reality. It's a counterbalance. One calls you, attracts you to grow, expand through intimacy. We call this the short path. It's a straight path. And the other breaks you, humbles you through the long path, the long winding path. It's like a blind man. He's walking down a path and he cannot see. And he only has the aid of a staff. And he takes his staff and he cannot see and he taps it. You know why he has that staff? Because without that staff, he'd smack into wall after wall after wall. You know, and he would learn the path eventually, but he'd be beaten up and bruised. And it would be a really long, treacherous path. But the blind man takes the stick and he feels out the path and he refines his other senses. Staff is called his soul's intimacy. And with it, he ventures into the unknown, into the mystique, and he secures the straightest path. That is like every soul in these times. You're at a crossroads. Do I take the long path, the long winding path, the path of knowing what is by experiencing everything that is not? Is that not the way we are trained in the Western model of learning? Deductive reasoning, deconstruction. How could I ever know what something is? We don't know what gravity is. We only know what gravity is not. In ancient times, they'd have a conversation with the power that wields gravity. They'd be able to access that. It was called induction, not deduction. Induction. Induction is the short path. Induction through the soul's intimacy. It's recovering the latent ingenuity of the soul that is your birthright. All are worthy of it. And the way to do so is to harmonize the overt and the latent aspects of your soul. To harmonize them. That they're not counterbalancing each other, but they're actually a confluence, a synergy, working together. That your creative impulses that you value and the creative impulses that you do not value are all coming from a higher architecture of creative vitality for the greatest good. And to the degree that you're not able to illuminate the benevolence in it is because you do not have the proper lens to recognize the Creator within that field. And you cannot revere that. You cannot honor that. It seems beyond you. And so you take eternity that is singular and united and you break it. You break it down. And you prison yourself in a long path of learning from the darkness, of knowing what is by knowing what is not. Mystics called it the tree of knowledge. But by harmonizing what you know and what you revere, and you develop a relationship you coax a relationship with the greater unknown. You do not fear the unknown. You do not fear the unknown within you. You do not fear the unknown throughout. But instead, you take heed in the knowledge that you have witnessed just a smidgen, just a slight splinter of the divinity of your soul and your soul's vitality. And it's like a little iceberg, and below it, 3/4 of it is below the surface. And it is a reunion. It is a love story. It is a love story of a reunion within selfhood, within the vitality of your soul. And if you embrace it like a love story, and you recognize that love is more romantic in the dark, and you embrace the fact that you can be exhilarated by the unknown but familiar, and you can dance with that instead of fighting it or running from it, well, then you summon a confluence between the latent and overt divinity of your soul, so that the Creator, so that the eternal within your framework, within your network, within your vision, within your construct and paradigm, can become that more pronounced and that much more vital to creation. And as you do so, the impossible becomes increasingly imminent, because it's synergy. It's synergy. They don't fight each other. You're not like a pinball that's getting knocked from side to side from the respective paddles. But that each is supporting the momentum of the other, and it's a dance, like two lovers dancing. Each supporting the other. And when they draw apart, it's only to draw the passion for the eventual reunion. It's an elixir. It's called synergy. And that synergy is called love. It's called true love. Where every giver is receiving and every receiver is giving. And the one part remains in mystique, shrouded underneath, and the other is overt and recognized as divine. But it is all one. It is all one. It's cohesion. It's harmony. And as we restore the harmony within, that harmony echoes outward throughout. And every soul that is but a few steps away begins to hear that melody and dances in accordance, in tune, one by one, by one, by one. And we awaken to a world that is a far more intimate place. And so it is.